the surprise is here. Yes, yes. Late night with Ron Savage, the Savage Stream, and I have my good friend Jeff Jerome here. Jeff, I'm so happy to have you again. Jeff, we were here just, it seems, we were just talking, just here, but wait a minute, it was 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
The time capsule, oh my God. But
and we haven't changed one bit, have
not
we?
one bit.
I
did change my clothes once.
Oh.
Oh boy. But I'll tell you what, it's been a really crazy year. But Jeff and I we hooked up a couple times, did a couple interviews, because we are in the town. We are in Poe town. And that is the best town you want to be in. I'll tell you what, every time, oh boy, I'll tell you, Ravens, everything. But you know what? I think that I'm gonna give this to Jeff, because I can't. He's here for a reason, okay? And this is not a telethon, but watch.
Well, Ron, I'm just so pleased to be here. I mean, you and I go way back.
Yes,
and we met actually at one of the Edgar Allan Poe birthday celebrations.
Yes.
So many little years ago.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while,
Yeah.
you know. And we've been friends ever since.
Yes.
And, I always welcome the opportunity to talk about one of my favorite people.
Oh, yes.
And that's Edgar Allan Poe.
Absolutely.
And you are so correct when you say Baltimore is a Poe town.
Yes,
now,
it
Poe
is.
lived in other cities,
Mhm.
Richmond, Philadelphia, New York.
Yes.
But Baltimore is considered Poe.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
He's buried here. I always tell people it's unfortunate that Poe died.
Yes.
But I'm glad he did it here.
Yes.
Because if he would have died on the boat, nobody would have known who he was. If he would have died on the train to Philadelphia, nobody would have known who he was.
Absolutely.
And he would have been buried in an unmarked grave someplace, and we would be sitting here going, where's Poe's body? We don't know. He's
absolutely.
gone.
I know.
But he was recognized in Baltimore
Yes.
and by relatives, and they tried to take care of him, but they couldn't, so they took him to the nearest hospital. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself here.
Oh, that's
Okay.
quite all right, because this story, it octopuses, because there's so much that and and I was going to say something with Jeff, is that having Poe disappeared is not too far from the truth, because I'll tell you what, Baltimore was called Mob Town. That's before they knew Poe. Now it's Poe Town, but it was Mob Town. I mean, they were Shanghai, and they would drug people, take them on the ships. Right here.
It was a tough town.
It was a tough town.
Yeah.
Tough town. And geez, it was if you had the privilege of ever going years back when it wasn't a disease around, to Westminster when it was Halloween, and people learned about Jack the Grave Robber. These are true stories. So just Poe fits right in, and just rainbows, all colors of his stories and his ways. I tell you what, it just reflects. And
Let's go back to when Poe lived in Baltimore.
okay.
All right, and then we'll lead up to his death.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Poe was born in Boston by coincidence. His mother was an actress, and she just happened to be playing in Boston, and he was born. Eventually, she moved to Richmond as an actress. She was moving all over the place. She became very ill with consumption, or tuberculosis, as we call it today. And she died, leaving 3 children, Edgar, Henry, and his sister Rosalie.
Wow.
Rosalie was adopted by the Mackenzies in Richmond. Henry was adopted by the Poe family in Baltimore. And Edgar was taken in, never legally adopted, by John Allen in Richmond, Virginia. Okay, now, don't worry, I'm not going to give you a blow-by-blow description of Poe's life.
That's okay. I'm not saying none. I'm right here. Hello.
Well,
See my collection.
He was raised by John Allen, but John Allen never legally adopted Poe, because he wanted his money to go to his blood.
Oh.
Okay, he didn't want this upstart, getting any of his money. So even when Poe was very little, John Allen knew he's not getting my money.
Oh,
So
man.
as a child, they got along, but when Poe was of the age where he started seeing things, he would, for example, in his school, he would meet another child who John Allen fathered.
Mm.
And Poe couldn't figure out, wait a minute, how come he's related to me, but, and then he got to the age where he knew that John Allen was a man about town. His own wife was dying of tuberculosis, and John Allen was out fooling around.
Oh.
So, Poe and John Allen always had arguments, and he was a teenager. Teenagers say things that they don't mean, but John Allen was the kind of guy that he tried to get Poe out.
He probably deserved what he was told.
So,
Absolutely.
Eventually, John Allen died. He left money to his illegitimate children, but nothing to Poe.
Oh,
Okay.
Lord.
So Poe traveled